Hello and welcome to Cube Simplify. My name is Sam Patak and I'm a CNCF ambassador. In this video, we'll be discussing about the recent announcement that came in by Docker on Docker and WASM, which is pretty fancy. The technical preview of that, and we'll be going through that, doing a demo, and understand where the future lies. Before diving into this video, is brought to you by Armo, Commodore, Avesha, Sysdig, Instruct, SlimAI, and Teleport. A big shout out to them. Please check them out. All the links are in the description. So WASM, WebAssembly, that created a lot of buzz. We did had a WASM day at KubeCon. So I mean, people know that this technology has a lot of power and the potential, not only the browser. So initially when wasm started, like, it started with the browser, making things easier at the browser side of things. You can choose any language that you can write the code efficiently and you can run on the browser. Since it was the browser, so the security also was taken into consideration. One of the features of wasm is security, like it runs in the security sandbox environment, which is very awesome. That caters very well, like fits very well into the cloud native ecosystem. Basically in wasm, what happens is you write the code in different set of languages. Now it's not only like rust that supports wasm. There are different set of languages that you can write the web assembly modules into, and there are different frameworks like spin that helps you write the microservices that can be compiled to a wasm module. So how it is done is you have the code, and then you create a wasm file like the wasm module, and then you deploy to browser. So basically a single binary that can run anywhere. You don't have to build even the binary for different platforms. And it has like instant startups times, like it's super fast to start. So I personally think that it's a very very good use case for the serverless ecosystem, where you can deploy the application to a serverless ecosystem which is powered by wasm. And the startup times, which is we call the hot deploy and stuff, so that will not appear because it's wasm. It is like instantaneous. You put the request to the wasm module, it instantaneously starts up and then starts down. One of the big use case was figma, which is also mentioned in the announcement blog of docker. And it's all over. Like figma is one of the very big use case where it is used in the browser side of things. Now outside of the browser also it does make sense, and there have been like a lot of development contributions by various teams that has led wasm out of the browser into the server side, and now it is going into the cloud native containerization ecosystem as well. So now how things have evolved actually, if we see like over the decade, and there has been a famous quote by Solomon Hykes as well, like that if wasm and wazi existed back in 2008, then there would have been a need to create docker. So I mean, that it's that powerful. So how it has evolved is, you had the first class citizens, which is the virtual machines that catered a lot of workloads. Then containers came into picture, which eased out a lot of development effort. Like you can package your application dependencies and binaries and run it. And now there's a need where you need more instantaneous startup and stop times. You need more security out of the box. You need more lightweight images binaries to be distributed, and you need only to create single format binary, like single binary for all formats that can run anywhere in the cloud. So that's where wasm comes in. So those are the three ways of categorization that Matt Butcher described at one of his talks, which is amazing. So basically, WASM can be used anywhere where you need to scale rapidly at edge, serverless ecosystem. So those will be the main use cases, or even maybe some of the PaaS. I think Fermion has launched a PaaS which is based on WASM, which is amazing. So try that out. And in cloud world, like wasm is not, or like wasm is used with wazi, so that it can access to the file system and all those fancy things. So that's a high level of what wasm is. Obviously I'll be creating a lot more content on wasm on this Cube Simplifies YouTube channel. We'll be coming up with lots of awesome content, and because of the technology is so cool, and it will be there in the next decade for sure. Now, coming to the announcement, the technical preview of Docker plus WASM is available. So, what that means? Basically, that means is you can download the Docker desktop. So, you can download the Docker desktop for different operating systems, and with this particular feature enabled, which is the WASM and the Docker integration, which is available. And how it will run is you'll be having a Docker engine, you'll be having container D, and then you will be having container D shim for your container processes. You'll be having the container D WASM shim that will be having WASM Edge, and it can run the WASM modules. So let's look at the example. Let's run this. So you can see here the runtime is provided as IO containerd wasm HV1. This informs the Docker engine that we want to use wasm containerd instead of the standard Linux container runtime. And this is the WASI platform specify the architecture of the image that we want to use. So we can see the Docker logs, server is now running, we can curl and hello world from the Rust. So it's perfectly fine. We can also do some messages over there. We can write like hello from Cube Simplify. So you can see the app is working, and then we can destroy the application Docker RM. So that was the example. Let's try out another example, which is given the docs. So we have already enabled the WASM integration. You can just download that. We'll download another example, like we can have the Docker Compose file as well, and we can do Docker Compose up. So we'll use this repository. I have already cloned this repository, so let's go to this repository. You can see there is a Docker file. In the Docker file, you can actually see the line that installs the WASM Edge, including the AOT compiler, and the line where it builds the WASM binary. So these two are there, and also we have the Docker Compose. So in the Docker Compose, you can actually see the client, the server, and in the server we do have the platform as a WASI WASM 32, building from the current Docker file context, and then we have the database image. So pretty simple. Now we'll do Docker Compose up, and it starts building. Server is running. So let's go to localhost 8090, and we can see the welcome, and we can also actually check the Docker image inspect of the server image that was built, and we can see the architecture as WASM 32. And let's add, one quantity and add all these. Order has been added, so you can see the order is added and everything is running. So you can see application is served using Nginx website, WASM for the backend, and MariaDB for the database. So this is how it is actually being used as WASM modules, MariaDB as database. And if we do here Docker PS, we can see the MariaDB database server as running, and we can also see this as running in different architectures. So we can see the architecture as well. So let's inspect the same on MariaDB, and we can see this is using the regular ARM architecture. So that's pretty much it. That I like it will be interesting to build the apps. So if you go further down the documentation, you can see some of the roadmap which is public, and you can see the building and pushing of the WASM module. So you create the Docker file that builds your WASM application, and then in a separate Docker file, you can actually have that as an entry point, and you can push that to like build using the platform, passing the platform, and then push that to the registry. So I think that's pretty awesome. You can build and push the WASM module. It improves the developer workflow. People already know the Docker tooling very well, so they'll be able to understand and use WASM in a more effective and efficient way. And yes, you can already see like the use cases can be, there can be different microservices as WASM modules, and when you have something which needs state, which needs a long running process, you can have it as containers. So basically WASM modules and containers running side by side. So what are your thoughts on WASM and Docker announcement? I'm very excited about this and how this will go. Creating the applications, I'll be trying it out on different sample applications and how that would work. It is interesting. And let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you feel about this announcement of Docker and WASM working together? And WASM, what in general you think like WASM use cases can be? Like I do have a feeling that a serverless platform being built using WASM. So that will be interesting to see how WASM grows, how the WASM ecosystem and the community grows. I personally I'm learning more about the WASM ecosystem, the modules, especially in the container ecosystem, the projects like Trustlet, Spin, and stuff that Suborbital is doing. So these are amazing in the world of WASM. And yes, I'll be creating more content about around this whole ecosystem as well on Cube Simplify. So I hope you like the video. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments. And yeah, this video is brought to you by Armo, Commodore, Avasia, Sysdig, Instruct, Slim AI, and Teleport. So do check them out. And make sure to like the video, subscribe it if you like the new fancy stuff that we keep on exploring. And try, give it a spin, give WASM and Docker a spin on the Docker desktop. And see you in the next video.